Our backgrounds don't declare who we are. They are like a setup for where we are going to be. And you see, when you get the question of identity wrong, you get every other thing wrong. Jesus was born a carpenter's son, but that did not mean that he was not the savior of the world. Hello good people, welcome to Book Club. Again, we are honored to have you. It's always a joy to have you join us as we discuss books and get to know better and to grow ourselves. Yes, Joanna.
Yes.
How have you been?
I'm well, still reading, still growing, still feeding on a lot of written articles, and it's amazing. I love the whole journey, and yeah, I'm here again to do this. Let's review books. This is Book Club, and karibuni sana.
Amazing.
Yes.
So in the last couple of shows, we've been discussing habit formation.
Yes.
And by the way, we're here to watch those episodes. There will be links and you can click and they will take you to those episodes. Kindly go and watch and let us learn and grow this book club community together. So we have discussed atomic habits, we've discussed the 5 a.m. club, and today we are going local.
Is it local amani international?
Locally international.
Locally international, if we would put it that way. And we are excited to be reviewing a book of our very own Mother M. Nelson. You guys should know her from Wema TV. And we are proud to be doing this. And it's amazing that we are kicking off with our own.
Yes, our very own.
It's amazing. So as we wind up this series on habit formation, we want to review this amazing book by Mother called Standing Out.
Yes.
Look at it, guys. Even from the cover and our copy, you would see like we have done a lot of scribbling? Yes.
Editing.
It's not like even editing, it's just highlighting the importance or those points that hit home because it's major. There is a lot of depth in this book, and maybe BP will give us an introduction of the book so that we dig into it right from the cover.
Exactly.
Yes.
And before even we discuss the book itself, I've known Mother for quite some years now, and we have done several projects with her.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love about her is that she's a very intentional lady.
She is.
She's a powerhouse in herself. And I remember one day she was telling me, BP, why don't we meet up and work on a project, on a book? I hope finally we'll get to work on it.
Yes.
But I'm glad that she went ahead and wrote this amazing book, Standing Out.
And she says, saying no to conformity, and embracing authenticity. Yeah.
So, first of all, I must congratulate her. Writing a book is no small feat, and therefore, this is an amazing job.
This is a win.
An amazing job.
Yes.
And I love what the book is about because it's talking about standing out in a generation where conformity is the order of the day.
Yeah.
And you see, the problem is we want to be more like other people than be like who God created us to be.
Yes.
And that
which
affects,
is sad. Very sad.
And that affects everything we do, including our habit formation. Because I want to behave the way you behave. I want to dress the way you dress. I want to do makeup the way you do. I want to...
Which is, probably not possible because how I do my things is not the way.
Yeah, exactly.
You will do your things as much as we are using the same systems as we said like earlier in the previous shows. Like we are establishing systems towards a goal, which is forming habits that will identify as people who know what they are doing, if I would say it like that. And Mother now brings some motivation in there, and she gives us scripture, she gives us motivational quotes to help us towards that system building, which is basically standing out. And for me, that is amazing. Amazing. We are gonna get to see. I have my sticky notes all over. Like I get quotes from the book and I put them on sticky notes and I stick them all over my walls because it makes sense.
Yeah, actually,
and that is what we need.
Exactly.
Yeah, in this generation. Yeah.
You need something to challenge you to be better than who you are at the present.
True.
And as I said at the beginning of this conversation, that the book itself, the title itself, Standing Out, is very important because it speaks to us in that we need to stand out. And actually, beginning from the cover, I love the outlook of the cover because we have some tall buildings
that are actually it's tall,
skyscrapers. A huge building that is notable probably because of its height, design, beauty. So they're standing out in the cities that they are in.
True.
And likewise, we've been called to stand out. We have not been called to be a second copy of somebody else. You've been called to be a first-class version of who
ourselves.
Yourself, of who you were created to be. And like you said, the book is, I love the prose of the book.
Yeah.
One thing I love about it, the book is not very long.
It's not.
But it has some deep content inside it.
Exactly.
And she has drawn in some scripture reference and tried to help us understand how really can we stand out. And I love the book from the word go.
Yeah, in the 8 chapters that are in the book, the book has 8 chapters and each of them carries a lot in it, and we're going to be seeing that in a few years.
Yeah.
So, into the blurb, if I could read it for you guys, standing out simply is Martha bringing to us her idea of not conforming to the patterns of the world, you know. And it starts by the renewal of the mind. And before I get deep into that, she says, many other times, people desire greatness while they rarely invest in their uniqueness. And this book will help you understand that we were not born to conform to what has been said, but to stand out and become the best versions of ourselves. Authenticity is often massacred on the altar of conformity. Imagine that is...
I love that.
Yes, we just... cut it like we don't want to be authentic. I want to be like BP. I want to speak his language, and that is becoming a second-rate version of someone else instead of becoming the first-class version of yourself. So authenticity is standing out. To dare to be like people is cowardice. Dare to be yourself. That is bravery. So that is what we want to see, and you will get right into the book. You will see she's put for you what you intend to see, you will get to see the chapters, the foreword by a counseling psychologist that we all know, and I know that you probably have met him in one of our shows here at Wema TV. That's Benjamin Zulu. You can check that out. Decoding the Process, is it? Those are shows that you need to get into, because as much as we are reviewing books, there are people with Mother is the author, you can get it right from her. But let's do this because it's book club. So she kicks it off with chapter 1 saying that we are unique. We are unique. We're supposed to bring that authentic uniqueness in us. And she quotes 1 Peter 4:10. Maybe we should read that in a few. Today it's gonna get spiritual, it's gonna get real.
Yeah, we're going to preach in here.
Which is amazing. So as I get that, Peter, what is your view on chapter 1 of the book?
Even as we look for that, I felt that Mother discussed on quite a number of issues. She discussed on identity, she discussed on morals, that is the principles that we set. She has discussed on who is around, who is in your circle, the kind of friends that you keep. She has discussed about character and how character affects destiny. And therefore I believe it's a must copy for each and every one of us.
Each and every one of us.
And at the beginning she starts by telling us that we are unique. And unless you realize that you are unique, you will always strive to be a second-class version of somebody else instead of working on the best of your abilities to be your real self.
Alright, so she said, okay, the Bible says in 1 Peter 4:10, which she quotes that each one should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. So each and every one of us is gifted differently, yeah? So even as you strive to form habits, even as you strive to join the 5 a.m. club, even as you strive to be the best version of yourself, you need to understand that you have been gifted differently, and you need to use that and maximize that and stand out, because that is most of the people who have stood out in our times, in our generation, they were the authentic version of themselves.
And you see, the something is,
yes,
we have been gifted differently, but because we want to be a copycat version of somebody else, we suppress those God-given abilities and we conform them to be like the abilities of somebody else.
True.
And you fail to realize that whatever God has kept in you is so much different, and that is where you should capitalize on.
It's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there is a line, a statement I highlighted. She says, we never cease to participate in the never-ending competition with others when we were meant to follow our unique path. So that's it. That's chapter 1 in a nutshell, and it's an amazing introduction to the book and even to an understanding of what standing out is about. Then we go to chapter 2. She now asks us a question. Who are you? And you know, I love it. I love the way Mother ends each chapter with questions. And if you can see, I will be very raw with you guys. Like, I have my chapter questions, and after every chapter, I have my answers, because you need not just to be reading books, you need to internalize, let it, you know, let it minister to you, let it meditate on it, because we are trying to get knowledgeable, we are trying to learn from these written articles. It's not just, oh, how many books have you read?
The point is transformation.
Yeah, transformation.
Yes.
So after every chapter, questions, and that is a pro.
Yes.
I add on top.
Actually, I love that kind of setting of the book, because after reading the content, you're now able to ask yourself, now that I have read this, how is it applying to my life, and what are the things I've been missing, and what are the necessary corrections that I can make, so that I can work towards being unique if the topic is being unique, or so forth. So chapter 2, who are you? And she gives us a chapter still, maybe you could read that for us, in Psalms 119:59. And she you can get that, she says, or she tells us to start searching, you know, and identify who we are, because it's important. She says finding your passion isn't just about finding careers and money, it's about finding your authentic self, the one you buried beneath people's needs. And that's a quote from Christine Hanna, that find your passion. It's not just about the career and money, no, it's identifying that Joanna in you, that Susan in you, that Brian in you, and I love it. There is a lot about identity, and Mother has simply brought it to us in the simplest of words, and she gives us what do we call it? An acronym, for self-knowledge, and she calls them the vitals. I love that actually.
You did, yes. It's very simple to understand, and from the vitals, she puts it and says it stands for values, I stands for interest, T for temperament, and you know them from
the sanguine.
We covered that in the Atomic Habits. There is A for around the clock activities, and she says if you're a morning person, do your stuff in the morning. If you're an evening, if you find yourself productive, myself, I'm productive like during the day. Like I am the type of person, working hours are working hours. Like if it's classwork, I get it when the teacher is teaching. So I'm an 8 to 5, you see. But some people are very active in the morning, others are very active at night, which I find so weird. So A stands for around the clock activities, and then there is L for life mission and meaningful goals. And what is your purpose? So you know, you have to understand. And we were talking earlier this week, BP, if you remember, and you were giving us something about identity. Maybe you could touch a bit on that, even as we read Psalms Psalms 119, verse 59.
Psalm 119, verse 59 says, I have considered my ways and have turned my steps to your statutes. This was David writing. And you see, when it comes to the issue of identity, you can never really understand your identity unless you know your source.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Unless you know where you come from or who created you.
It's true.
You can never really get to the bottom of your identity. And you see, when you get the question of identity wrong, you get every other thing wrong. If you don't know who you are, then it means even what you will do, how you will do it, why you will do it, will not be the legitimate thing.
It's true.
It will be a second copy of something
maybe someone else. Yeah.
Exactly. And even David, as he was writing this, he had looked all around. Where could he get his identity, his purpose?
Yes.
And even in another portion of scripture, he has written, there is nowhere he can go away from the presence of God.
It's true.
So
even when he hides
under the sea, God is there, above the skies, you know. So really, we must, like David, we must really strive to get our identity from God. Otherwise, as we are continually saying, we'll be second copies of other people. So I love the way she tackled the issue of identity. Yeah.
All right, that's it. And maybe just before we finish up on chapter 2, she gives us some things that have allowed us to, or have made us not be the authentic selves that we are supposed to be. And she says that our background, our friends, she says academics, actually not friends, let me put it as she has, she says people. Because you know, nowadays you need to realize that a colleague is not necessarily your friend.
That's true.
A neighbor is not necessarily your friend. And sometimes we allow these people to define who we are, which is so wrong. Sometimes we allow our academia to identify ourselves like I am a dropout, I'm a graduate, I'm a professor, you know. That is not it. You need to understand who you are really.
And before even we get out of that point, concerning the backgrounds, I think she did it very well, and it was quite an eye-opener for me. She says that our backgrounds don't declare who we are. They are like a setup for where we are going to be. And she gives the example of Jesus. She says that Jesus was born a carpenter's son, but that did not mean that he was not the savior of the world. So even in our various backgrounds, whichever or however it is, no, it is not a form of declaration, but it is a form of a staircase to get you to where you are.
It's true.
They don't dictate who you are. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. And she continues to tell us to have the right mindset, which is the growth mindset, and to develop also a stewardship mindset, such that you're able to be a caretaker of what God has given you. And that's important.
Exactly.
And still after that, there are questions: who am I? What are my vitals? What have I allowed to define me? And what should really define me? Alright, then we go to chapter 3, setting principles and standards. Romans 12:2. It's important that you know this down, because they will be of aid. And she gives us a quote by Tony Robbins, which says, if you want to change your life, you have to raise your standards.
Definitely.
Nail it.
Yeah.
On it. Like if you want to change your life, imagine you have to raise your standards.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. So that is simply setting principles and standards. Mother states it very well. Like we have to be intentional. We have to know that any distraction is not worth my time. So if I am aiming at becoming who? The president of the country, there are things I am working towards. I have to consider the mwananchi. So be intentional. Be intentional about standing out. As much as we might, tell you, you need to stand out, you need to be the authentic self, you need to be. It doesn't work if you're not intentional.
And she says that when you are developing these principles and boundaries, what happens, you see, if the devil won't destroy those principles you're setting, then he will distract
It's true.
So when you're trying to build the systems, as we have been talking through these weeks, as you are trying to set up the systems to help you set these principles, if the devil cannot destroy that,
he will
then
distract
he will distract you
It's
from
true.
making the necessary principles.
Yes, which is so wrong. She says, like, what you feed your mind is exactly what it generates. Don't you think that's...
It is true.
It's true, yeah.
And you see, I think in the last show we tackled and we said that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks,
yeah.
and the mind thinketh. And as you think,
so you are.
Exactly.
Wow. So we proceed to chapter 4. These are amazing nuggets. Like, I want each of you to get this book, read it, highlight it, reread it, because I'm gonna reread it, because I'm seeing like there are things I still need to digest and think. And she brings us to the power of solitude. You wanna tackle that?
Yeah, the basic thing that she says here is that you need to set time for yourself.
It's true.
You know, sometimes we are so caught in the business of life that we forget that I need to have a me time. So, in short, she says, create time for yourself, meditate, think things through, and at the end of the day, that helps you grow.
Wow.
Yes, the growth mentality.
You know, I've always had my lady friends talk of self-care. You know, going for a hideout where you're just, it's important, you know, because I'm imagining if you're in a state you can't enjoy your own company, who do you expect will enjoy that company? It's unbelievable. So Mother brings us to the power of solitude, and she makes us understand that, and she says personal time is productive time, to understand the immeasurable, the mind must be tranquil. And I love it that she brings these quotes in, and it blends so well with what she's talking about. You have to get this book.
It's an amazing. There are nuggets that really, unless you read for yourself and think them through, they will not make sense. But as you read the book and internalize the content that she has written, they will help you become a better person and stand out.
Because she says normalize spending moments alone, and you will experience the change this will begin making in your life.
Yeah, even Jesus had time for himself. So why not you?
Why not you? Okay, and she goes on. That's chapter 4. Chapter 5. Who do you work with?
Your friends.
Turntables. As much as you're enjoying your own company, who are you working with? Because show me your friends.
And I tell you the kind of person you are.
And Mother knows that very well. And she says you can never perform in a manner that is higher than the level of the friendships you entertain. You know, I just read that and I sat down and thought, who are my friends? What people am I keeping?
Where you are right now is a reflection of the friends you keep close.
That's very true. And it's been true that you can't raise a higher level than the friends you're keeping. It means if you're hanging around kawaida people,
you live a kawaida
you'll
life.
probably even be hapo chini, because you can't go above that. So that's very key. Who do you work with?
And she talks of 3 kinds of friends: the constituents, the comrades, and what was the other one?
The confidants.
Yes, the confidants. So those who in your circle of friends, who is the constituent, who is the confidant. So you need to read and get to know the characteristics of the constituents, of the confidants, of the comrades, what they stand for, and etc.
It's true, and then she says that there are people you must have in your life. You must have fathers, you must have family, and you must have friends. And it's not only good all the time, it's not good all the time, Sometimes you have fans, sometimes you have enemies, and fans can at times, you know how it is.
Fans are just there to speculate.
It's
take
true.
you with the hype.
And you have to have fellows as well and followers. I love it. I love how Mother brings this on board. Have these people in your life so that they will help you in standing out, because they are placed in your life
strategically. For a purpose.
That's the word.
Yes.
That's the word. Alright, and still we have questions after that chapter. Who do you value most? Who do you allow in your inner circle? What values make you stand out and Do you know who is who in your life?
I love this question
Do
because
you?
they are reflective, they challenge you, and they make you look around and help you even develop better systems to be a better person.
To be a better person. And she emphasizes purpose and standing out in chapter 6. Now I feel this is where the weight comes in, and she gives us a quote. The purpose of life is not to be happy, it's to be useful, honorable, and compassionate. If you have chose those, then you have lived well. It's simple as that.
I think the basic summary for that is, if the purpose of an object is not known, then abuse is inevitable.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
So you need to know your purpose to stand out.
Exactly.
And she goes on to chapter 7. I just wish that every one of you can get this book. Reflect on the questions, and if you don't stand out, come, we will pray for you now. We will pray for you. We will get the conqueror. Is it the no? What is the other show? Teleo show. We'll get the pastors to pray for you. But in book club, you're reviewing books. You're making sure you have the knowledge because you need it.
Yes,
so chapter 7, as she comes to a close, I almost butchered that.
You did.
The power of consistency and commitment. If you're consistent, because we have talked about this over and over again, from habit formation to, is it atomic habits that was in 5 a.m. club. If you're not consistent, it won't work.
You won't develop that, you won't stand out, right?
Yes, do it consistently and do it often. So yeah, that is it for standing out. We are saying no to conformity and embracing authenticity. It's an amazing book by our very own. You should get it, it's available. Just comment down below and we'll be sure to get you a copy.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
What is your conclusion on
My
that?
conclusion is actually from the book, and you see I had folded the page, and she says that destiny is more about the depth of your character than it is about the height of your gifting.
Oh wow.
Gifts are freely given, but character is intentionally developed. Character is the capital cost for sustaining the weight of destiny.
It's true.
You can be gifted, but without character, it's all coming down, trust me.
It's coming down.
Actually, I used to say that a gift without character is an accident in waiting.
Oh wow. Say that again.
A gift without character is an accident in waiting.
Guys, I think we should just close this, wrap it up, because I don't want to dilute that. And that's it for today. Thank you for hanging out with us at Book Club. Continue reading those books. Enjoy them while you do so. Hydrate. Make sure you understand every detail in the books. If you have any queries, you can find us on our social media pages, handles, pale Instagram at Wema TV, Facebook Wema TV, here at YouTube Wema TV. And that's it from me. Peace.